Summer blockbuster movie season is upon us, which means get ready to watch a whole lot.
Pretty damn funny. I mean, if it was just some idiot, not you, you'd be laughing your off. I mean, this is...
If you're new, The Departed 2. At 73 years old, Martin Scorsese is one of the greatest filmmakers alive. At any given moment, he's producing no less than 6 projects in wide success. A sequel is an obvious slam dunk. But don't camp out in line, just some of your favorite characters dying in the film. Apparently, the creators are going to be bringing some back who bit the dust in the film. Hopefully, it's a zombie version of Leonardo DiCaprio.
You're fired.
True Lies 2. James Cameron and Arnold Schwarzenegger scored huge. The film gained epic infamy with audiences and critics worldwide. It was said to be the film as James Bond had been in limbo since 1989 with no clear future in sight. True Lies, which sucked up his time also. Not only that, in 2003, Arnold became California's governor until January 2011. But then, as the governor was leaving office, was on this list, involved the writers and directors wanting nothing to do with their creations. They want to invent a section of Disneyland devoted to Toontown. What is halting its production? Funny enough, fit in the current corporate Disney culture. Also, they do not like the character Jessica Rabbit at all. The film is just too dark and way too sexy for the current brand.
I love you. I don't guess I'm as hungry as I thought.
They all understand a film like MGM's 1939 Gone with the Wind is perfect as is. Some films just don't need a sequel. Plain and simple. Especially an epic classic like Gone with the Wind. But in the 1930s, MGM adjustments for inflation had garnered 10 Academy Awards, made $1 bajillion, and secured a place in cinema history. So how did the film elude the inevitable sequel? It's not sequel. It has a 90% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and is considered one of the best Disney animations. However, instead of capitalizing on its success, Disney moved on to Frozen and Brave. During an interview, Roy Conley, a voice actor for Disney, said the directors aren't really interested in continuing the story. However, in 2012, Disney released a 6-minute short entitled Tangled Ever After. Apparently, this was to supplement fans for their desires for a sequel that will never happen. Another reason Conley explained is that, spoiler alert, her hair is gone. In the first movie, her iconic long magical locks are cut off. Also, while the characters Rapunzel and Flynn Rider are popular and interesting, their world just isn't that fleshed out. Nor is it very iconic. On top of that, the main villain has been destroyed. This leaves the Tangled creators without a nemesis, Rapunzel with no superpowers, and a bunch of normal characters in a fairy tale world. They would have to think up a whole bunch of completely unconnected storylines in order for their characters to go on adventures. Although, we think there's still room for them to make a TV show. What do you think? Good Will Hunting. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's timeless Good Will Hunting is the perfect candidate for a sequel. All of the main and side characters are fully developed. There's a well-designed story world, and it has worldwide critical acclaim. Damon's characters could easily come back to be a mentor to another struggling, brilliant mind, and we would fall in love all over again. But the dreams of this ever happening is just an impossible dream. Neither Damon nor Affleck are openly pursuing the idea. Damon went off to achieve massive actor stardom and to pursue a producing career. Affleck had a few bumps but found his footing as a critically acclaimed director and actor. Also, according to Affleck, they just don't have the time. When they first were creating Good Will Hunting, they both had nothing to do. They could sit around all day and do nothing but talk about ideas for the movie. When the film won a slew of prestigious awards and the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay, they no longer had opportunities to just sit around. If you still believe there is hope for them to find time, Affleck also added this little apple to sour any hopes. We've both moved on from the story. Ouch. How do you like them apples?
Waiting. I'll never get out of here. I'll die in Casablanca.
Casablanca 2. Ah, the impossible dream. Ah, but we wouldn't do to see Rick and Ilsa from Warner Bros. 1942 immortalized Casablanca back together again. Well, you're gonna have to keep dreaming because it's not happening anytime soon. A true sequel for this film has been in the works since its release. There have been filmmakers who have made loose adaptations but never an official sequel, such as Woody Allen's 1972, Play It Again, Sam. Shortly after Casablanca won the Oscar for Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Writing, Warner Bros. Slated a sequel for release 1 year later entitled Brazzaville. But when the studio received the script, they hated the story and characters. It was immediately rejected and the entire project was scrapped. They did indicate a willingness, but only if the right filmmaker could be found. Maybe this one isn't so impossible after all.
Do you want to hear this or not, Mr. Lovett?
Titanic 2. Of all the movies on this list, a sequel for Titanic is most definitely impossible. The ship sank, mostly everyone died. And Rose lived a full happy life without Jack, even though everyone knows there was more than enough space on that big old plank. Sorry, but not sorry. We've all been thinking it. Now back to the impossible sequel. Seriously though, what would the sequel even look like? The raising of the Titanic? Boring. The only scenarios possible would be more of a prequel than a sequel. Even then, Titanic's main storyline followed the love story between Jack and Rose. There could be a potential sequel showcasing what really happened to Jack. Maybe Jack turns into a zombie and we follow the adventures of Zombie Jack underwater in search of his love Rose. Finding Nemo was successful. This should be a cinch. There's always the sequel idea which could prove Jack faked his death, swam to shore, and after a few years and smart investments became the Great Gatsby. On a more serious note, James Cameron holds solid control of the film and is not gonna let anybody touch it. So for now, we're going to have to let go of this dream. Sorry, Rose. Inception 2. Alright, let's get something straight. For you Die-Hard fans, the following sentence is going to be tough for you to swallow. There is no way, no how in your wildest dreams that Chris Nolan's 2010 film Inception is ever going to get a sequel. There, you have it. It's done. Nada. Zip. Like a Band-Aid being ripped off quickly. It stings now, but it will feel better soon. We promise. We know there are a lot of rumors circling at the possibility of production beginning after the completion of The Dark Knight Rises, but that never happened, and again, it never will. Nolan is just too damn smart to let it happen. He designed it as a single, self-contained film and has no plans or desire to pursue it further. Even if a studio could make the film without Nolan somehow, most of the main cast agrees a sequel is just absurd. And never mind how they feel, the cast themselves have reached a massive level of stardom. Getting them all together would be almost impossible. Please ignore anyone who tries to propose the idea and instead focus on discussing and examining the immense multitude of layers this film has to offer. There is no shortage.
I'm coming over there.
It's coming.
I'm coming after you.
Sorry, Raji. We're on a budget.
Oh, come on. It's only $12.
Oh my God.
Come on, freeloaders.
Bridesmaids. Out of all the films on this list, Kristen Wiig's 2011 worldwide smash comedy hit Bridesmaids is a surefire sequel waiting to happen. It's a no-brainer. The film not only was a megasaurus devouring money in every theater across the globe, but it also garnered an insanely overwhelming slew of positive critical acclaim. Rarely seen in Hollywood studios, the movie features a strong, independent, comedic cast of women. Films like this empower women globally and generate positive self-esteem. Heck, it even catapulted several actresses into stardom, like Melissa McCarthy, who has become a household name worldwide. A sequel to this film will surely top its predecessor and launch a comedic franchise as popular as the Fast and Furious series. That is, except for one small, itty-bitty little roadblock. Wiig refuses to write sequels. That's right, the creator and mind behind the film will not write sequels. Not just a sequel for this film, but sequels for any film ever. She doesn't believe in them. It's probably for the best, since comedic sequels are almost always unwatchable. The element of surprise is gone in a comedy sequel, which is a fundamental element for comedy to work. Instead, it's just best to hope that the cast reunites in another movie. Which one of these movie sequels would you like to see? Share in the comments section below, and please share this video and subscribe to Screen Rant. Thanks a whole bunch for watching. Oh yeah, and do you think we forgot? The answer to our emoji quiz is...